Hello and welcome to the 360 tour of Rewritten, The World Ahead of Us. I am Yan Lin of the National Arts Council's Public Art Trust, or PAT in short, and shall be your guide for this tour today, where we will visit the 14 commissioned artworks across 8 different park sites. Presented from January 22nd to June 6, 2021, Rewritten was conceptualized during the COVID-19 circuit breaker period in 2020 when Singapore experienced an unprecedented stillness and silence due to social distancing measures. In the spirit of wanting to imagine Singapore's position in a post-COVID world, embrace our shared humanity, and uplift the spirits of our people in these challenging times, the PAT sought proposals island-wide through an open call and selected 14 to be materialized as artworks. The curatorial theme focused on text-based art, incorporating haiku, poetry, slogans, or wordplays to provide an outlet for the thoughts we struggle to put on paper as we grapple with a new reality. Collectively, the works contemplate the multitude of changes from the minute to the tremendous experienced in our daily lives since the onset of the pandemic. Let's start with the artworks at the western end of the trail at Jurong Lake Gardens. Here, the two artworks pose observations on the Anthropocene and the complex interrelationships between man and nature. It is precisely this upset in the delicate balance between mankind and the environment that has inadvertently precipitated the outbreak of the global pandemic. First, we have a work by Robert Zhao Renhui titled It Takes Time, consisting of 11 light boxes. Inspired by the importance of noticing subtle changes in nature, It Takes Time is a durational art installation that tracks the development of a young tree at Jurong Lake Gardens over 11 months. One side bears a textual message, while the other presents a sequence of photographs of a growing tree, one to be unveiled every month. If you look closely, you may even spot wildlife such as the Brahmini kite or the water hen, which are native animals at the Jurong Lake Gardens. The work celebrates the beauty and simplicity of small changes and documents them in a way that engages and uplifts viewers. Each time, one may notice the illumination of a new light box every month, signifying a continuous process of growth and change, which is the hopeful message of this artwork. Nature has gone on before, is going on, and will go on. We can find some comfort in that. Across the field is the next artwork titled When a Tree Becomes a Forest by artist Nian. This is a site-specific installation comprising 195 timber structures, each stylized as the Chinese character Mu, which translates into wood or tree. Marrying man-made interventions and natural elements, the artwork embodies the intimate interdependence between man and nature, which is especially crucial in light of the global pandemic. Symbolizing collective strength and unity, it also offers a gentle urging for one to not lose sight of the forest for the trees. Ultimately, we are one in rebuilding our future together. Try viewing the work from different perspectives. You may glimpse the character Mu, which means wood or tree, Lin, woods, or even Sen, which means forest, from an aerial view. Next, let's travel to Ang Mo Kio Linear Park and Luxus Hills Park. Here, the two artworks are concerned about the textures of the social fabric as well as the structural underpinnings of how people connect and relate to each other when social distancing has become a norm. The first artwork, where we see, at Ang Mo Kio Linear Park, is Bond by Jerome and Haan. An emphatic cross between a sculpture and pavilion, Bond is an experiential exploration of the evolving interpersonal relationships and social bonds amidst the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. One questions if social distancing has created more separations and divergences. In the physical sense, we have indeed spent more time apart from each other. Yet on the other level, it can be discerned that we have become much more intimate beings internally. The space and time afforded around us during this pandemic has actually allowed many to feel the most genuine in the longest time. Included in the artwork is a 4-part poem reflecting upon strength and solidarity. When read as a whole, Bond reveals fresh nuances of how we connect in daily life in light of the new normal. Over at the other side at Luxus Hills Park, Ang Mo Kio Linear Park, and Lower Seletar Reservoir Park is a work by Weimin Lai titled Hey, How Are You? This is a typographic artwork that plays on the fundamental greeting of asking well. Similar to Bond, it consists of lots of fascinating details that can be viewed up close. Beyond a perfunctory conversation opener, what happens when we use this with genuine intentions to listen and connect? A simple question may pave the way for a deeper connection that enlightens and uplifts. Words are powerful and a force to be used constructively. They help to spell out emotional complexities, bringing about clarity and relief. This artwork is made up of construction tarpaulin strips sewn together and adopts the visual metaphor of a flag, which is typically used in festive or ceremonial occasions to symbolize collective identity and solidarity. Accompanied with thematic works written by local writer Yasiraf Yusuf, the work hopes to serve as a reminder to reach out and embrace our shared humanity. There are 3 renditions in total, 2 at Lower Seletar Reservoir Park and 1 at Luxus Hills Park. Now, let's take a trip to central Singapore at Bishan-Ang Mo Kio Park, where we have a cluster of 3 artworks which look into the past, meditate on the present, and project into the future for lessons of wisdom on how to make sense or make good of the massive transformations in our lives due to the pandemic. First, we have this fascinating artwork which references the past in the form of a vintage cassette tape. This installation titled Fill in the Blanks with Dual Possibilities is by a local art collective, Vertical Submarine. The installation draws reference to an extract from fan fiction, a poem within Singaporean writer Yong Shu Hong's publication, Anatomy of a Wave, which talks about a generation of music lovers coming to age in the 80s to the early 90s. And the sentence reads, out of quarter-life crisis, hurtling out of doldrums quickly, to grandly enter the dawn of the 90s. This line is imprinted onto a larger-than-life sculpture of an audio cassette tape, this time with keywords redacted, inviting viewers to mentally fill in the blanks based on their imagination. On the B side, the Chinese phrase 危险机会 utilizes the device of code switching and alludes to how opportunity is often embedded in crisis, akin to the complex times we live in today. The artwork serves as a layered puzzle open to diverse permutations of decoding and interpretation, and speaks about the various possibilities and uncertainties lying ahead of us. The next artwork is titled Hello Stranger by Dawn Ng. This work speaks about our present times and the yearnings and desires that we all have. Conceived as a lenticular billboard nestled among a lush pocket of the park, Hello Stranger starts off unassumingly as a static sculpture. But as one walks around it from different directions, it evolves as a physical performance of revelation. As one uncovers its intended text from different directions and distances. The text speaks to the longing of our current generation, who seems to have everything, yet is always missing something. It contemplates on what one is looking for in life. Could it be embedded right here within our surroundings all along? Could we be all seeking something intangible, yet authentic and real? Read in the context of the post-COVID world, the artwork is a staging of a tender and surreal encounter with works. At once intimate and universal, It seeks to connect with audiences and inspire reflection. And finally, the last artwork to be discovered at Bishan-Ang Mo Kio Park is titled This Time by Perception Tree, an interdisciplinary art duo consisting of Regina Di Rosario and Xia Ziyun. While the previous two works explored the past and present, this work projects into the future. This time reflects on our heightened sensitivities towards time, distances, and proximities. The artwork features two sets of texts on both sides of the bridge. And it goes, this time apart, this distance together, longing for the sky, reaching for the sea. When read in the context of the pandemic, the texts direct our attention to this moment in time where we are held apart, yet sharing a sense of longing together. Looking beyond the current situation, the texts are a reminder of life's constant uncertainties, desires, and hopes. As a site-responsive artwork, the texts are also in dialogue with elements of the surroundings, such as the apartment blocks, the river, sky, and trees. When encountered together, they suggest a dynamic connection to the rest of the city and beyond. Departing from Bishan-Ang Mo Kio Park, let's head further east to Sengkang Riverside Park, which has two artworks revolving around the language of self-care and the importance of creating space for oneself to rest and regenerate. Be it accepting and drawing strength from difficult emotions, these two artworks encourage us to take a break from the daily hustle and bustle. First, we have an artwork nearest to the Visitor Service Center titled Anamorphic Vibes by Adeline Lu and Cheong. This labor-intensive artwork was created by stretching acrylic strings or yarn over an aluminium frame. It is an illustration of the quote that says, "When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change." At the height of the global pandemic, two of the most frequently mentioned words were anxiety and courage. Anamorphic Vibes is hence a visual actualization of the need for a perspective shift in times of crisis. As we walk around the artwork, it reveals the words anxiety and courage from different angles, posing a timely reminder of how there will always be light in darkness, opportunities in setbacks. Upon closer observation, you can see that the artwork is made up of many multicolored threads, intricately strung together by hand. And this symbolizes our shared vulnerabilities and interconnectedness, as well as the need to garner strength and walk on together. Over at the other end of Sengkang Riverside Park, closer to the floating wetlands, we have a work titled Every Seed Carries Within It the Dream and Blueprint of the Whole by Hunny and Lummy, who is a social artist duo comprising of Han Ming Kwang and Queen Lam. This art installation consists of 8 rattan hammocks and a central structure. It is a visual manifestation of a line within local author Alvin Pang's publication, What Gives Us Our Name, which also happens to be the artwork title. It draws upon the profound yet simple idea that there's a seed of hope, inspirations, dreams, and strength implanted in every single individual that has the potential to grow into something great right now, especially as the world is going through a major reset due to the pandemic. The seed pods or hammocks carve out room for weary souls to recharge and cancel out the stress in everyday life. Aren't you also tempted to just kick back, relax, and sit in one of these hammocks yourself? Departing from Sengkang Riverside Park, we now find ourselves in the northeastern part of Singapore at Punggol Waterway Park and Lorong Halus Bridge. The artworks here are integrated into daily fixtures within the park or found in unexpected corners, such as beams under a bridge, atop a hill, or on an unconventional lamppost. They offer a moment of contemplation, humor, or reprieve amidst the stresses of the pandemic. In front of Waterway Point, we will find an artwork titled Distance Will Bring Me Closer to You by Hanson Ho, who is the creative director of Studio H55. This 32 meters long wall mural reminds many of us of the distant closeness which we may have experienced with a relative, friend, or a loved one during the lockdown. This may take the form of a rare phone call from an aunt checking out on how we are doing at home, an unexpected delivery of bubble tea couriered to us by a classmate, or a Zoom conversation which proved to be more focused and memorable than a physical meetup, which we often take for granted. A few steps away, you will find the next artwork titled Still Travelling by Laniakea Culture Collective, which is an intercultural, interdisciplinary art practice co-founded by husband and wife team Aaron Lee and Namiko-chan Takahashi. It is an outdoor, site-specific art installation comprising of a 14-line poem about migration, restlessness, and refuge, accompanied by flags bearing the image of a barn swallow on both sides of the river. This is an experiential work that invites us to pause, view, walk, and meditate. Who are we really? Where have we come from? Where are we going? May this unexpected interlude in time evoke our empathy and aspirations. May it strengthen our resolve to rise again. Incidentally, the inspiration for this public artwork came from Namiko's recent project where she completed a series of 75 watercolor birds, one for every day of the COVID-19 circuit breaker. The project is currently in the process of curation and archiving by the National Library Board. As we take the winding path up the hill, we come across the third artwork titled Jian by Cheryl Chiw. This ideogrammatic artwork takes its entry point from how the traditional Chinese character Jian is a composite of the sub-characters men, or door, and ri, which means sun or day. As a whole, the character Jian also denotes space or realm. Symbolizing a transition or passageway to a brand new world of possibilities, Jian explores how the pandemic had created a momentary pause in our fast-paced lives, opening a precious interval to reflect on how we have lived and how we choose to live moving forward. Be it a chance for a new beginning or an obstacle for what lies ahead, the ideogram of Ru, which means sun or day, depicts the passing of time in the relentless and unceasing cycle. You will really like to take a pause and have a seat at this artwork to think about your day and reflect on the times in front of us. You can also load up your favorite song list on your mobile phone, insert it into the slot indicated in the artwork, and enjoy the amplified tunes. Let's now hop over to Oasis Terrace, where we find the fourth artwork titled Temporary Escapism by Sam Low. This artwork consists of a series of 10 signages found at various unique spots such as shelters, railings, or lampposts, as well as one wall mural. The concept of this work envisions the public space as our playground, injecting little doses of human touch as a way of easing us into a new post-circuit breaker reality. It provides a helping hand and pick-me-up as we transition into this deeply transformative period of our lives, and seeks to remind us of our shared human experience through simple interactions with each other. Our next pit stop is a work titled Yellow by James Tan and Patrina Dontan at Lorong Halus Bridge. This immersive artwork consists of 2 sets of yellow uni-PVC drapes, akin to viewing curtains that bathe the Punggol Serangoon reservoir skyline in a warm glow which intensifies and cools off at various timings of the day. Their gently undulating curvatures resemble an impression of nature silhouetted against sunrise and sunset. And by nightfall, you will find a subtle glow emanating from the LED light strips colored with yellow lighting gels. This attention and focus to lighting is by no means incidental, as both the artists are theatre practitioners specializing in the field of lighting design. This artwork is also inspired by local writer Robert Yu's poem, Those in Urban Yellow. The first stanza of the poem lines the vantage point for dawn and has been stenciled onto the railings of that segment of the bridge, while the last stanza has been stenciled onto the railings facing the direction of dusk. Here's a reading by the two artists for the poem. Yellow poses an encouragement to people to look beyond today and anticipate a warm and positive post-pandemic future. Not only should we cherish the present, but also work hard to secure a future often perceived to be a given. We have now come to the end of our virtual tour, and thank you so much for joining me on this journey. For more information on the Public Art Trust, please feel free to check out our website at www.publicarttrust.gov.sg or our social media accounts at Public Art Trust SG.